Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome to this week's video. My name is Laura.
I'm Carlos.
And this is our channel called Our Journey on Pico Island.
So as everyone of you know, or most of you, buying property, real estate in Portugal in general is a very popular subject. So we've decided to put a video together that touches on mortgage financing, buying a property in Portugal, if that's the way you choose to go, like some people have and we have.
Because of our video last week, it was very popular and we were receiving a lot of questions about financing a property in Portugal. So we decided to put it all together for you and go into detail, because that's how we financed our property that we found in Pico Island. And we wanted just to take you guys through the process.
Yeah, just keep in mind that obviously we're sharing our experience. This happened about almost 2 years ago. Always do due diligence, things do change, and
very important.
Very important. We will leave some links that has to do with what we're talking about on the description, so check it out, and there you will be able to find more updated information to do with the bank and other important things you need to know.
Those of you who are just joining our channel, actually we'd like to say
yes.
Please subscribe and like our video. It really helps the algorithm. And also, before we get started, I wanted to thank people that donated in our last video. That was so kind. We had JK and Jolene and Darren and Wayne.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for the donations.
Yeah.
It really helps for us to keep up to date with our equipment and get these videos done for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. We also appreciate the comments and all the positive words and support that you've always given us from the beginning. Still, after doing this for over a year, I would have to say that 99.8% of your comments and emails are on the positive side, and we want to keep things that way.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So let's get started, guys. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our property. We happened to be hiking one day and we fell upon this house that had a sign for sale by owner. So we had a little look around and we decided, you know what, I think this would be a good property for us. So we called the number and we met with the owner, and we agreed on a price, and then we went from there.
Yeah, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I really remember it as if we did this last week, walking there, the hike, the way it was, the sun, everything. And it was just one of those things we found we found a gem, and there's still to be had all over the Azores. So, we went back to, actually before going back to Canada, we went to say bye to our banker and tell him what just happened. We found a place, here's what we agreed to with the owner, and we'll be in touch. We did have a bank account, right? And he just says, well, have you considered getting a mortgage? I said, well, not really. And then he kind of got into it, told us why he thought it would be a good idea. And the interest rates were really low and he thought it would be worth a shot. So we came back. He sent us all the information.
If you're going to buy anything in Portugal, you first have to have your NIF number. And what is a NIF number?
The NIF number is like, for Canada, it's like a social insurance number. It's attached to everything you will do in Portugal. You're buying a car, buying groceries, you can put if you want to get tax returns. Mm-hmm. Everything you will do will have this NIF number attached to it.
Yeah, so you won't be able to do any of this process until you have that number. You can find, we have a video explaining how to do that, but we just wanted to let you know that we already had that.
Now, let's say you're there and quick you find something, you can still go and talk to the banker even before you have a bank account and talk about your options and so forth without having a NIF number, and you come back and you might even be able to do a pre-approved mortgage. Now, obviously you wouldn't do a pre-approved mortgage unless you found something, right? So
yes.
We found that getting a NIF number is pretty quick.
Yeah. And
getting a bank account is pretty quick. So that's really if you really are considering buying something there, I think that would be probably one of the first things you should do.
Yeah, but you can open up a bank account during the process of getting the mortgage.
Yes.
So we get back to Canada and we received the pre-approval forms, which Carlos and I filled out, and we had to get all the documents together that the bank needed. So here's the list of the documents that we needed to send over to our bank. We needed to send our passport, or our citizenship card. Now, Carlos is a Portuguese citizen. You also need to have a copy of your fiscal number, which is the NIF number. So obviously you will have to have that. You need 3 pay stubs from each person that's applying for the mortgage. And you need any document that states your occupation. So a reference letter from your employer. If you're self-employed, it's kind of funny because you write your own letter and state what you earn. And you can also send any pension paperwork, whatever you're making a month through your pension.
Now, with that, it wasn't just because we're self-employed. I also had to give him proof of earnings.
Yeah, your financial statement and what have you. You also have to send your SIN number and a copy of your credit report. They only accept, well, especially in Canada, they only accept a credit report from Equifax or Experian. Then you need to send 3 months of your bank statements from your checking account.
Most recent, right?
Yes. Yeah, 3 months of your most recent bank statements. And they definitely want it from your checking account because they just want to see the activity that's going through there. And also a description of any assets that you have in the country that you live or elsewhere.
3 of the most important documents you would need there. It's in Portuguese, so forgive my Portuguese accent here. One is called Caderneta Predial. The other one, Certidão Registro Predial, and Licença de Utilização.
These are documents to do with the house.
Yeah, between the bank, the notary again, and the sellers, they're doing all this coordination, and we just kind of sit back and wait till everything's, and then we're called in and all that. But I think before going further, we should just mention, the main reason why we kind of said, okay, if we could get a mortgage, let's try for it, was the interest rate. It was crazy at the time. It was like under 1.
Since 2015, they were in a negative. So the nominal annual rate was 0.85%. And we decided to get a variable because we got a 1.2% interest rate.
Yeah, and the down payment was 20%, right?
Yes.
Now, it would have been less if we wanted to, but I'm 55, so anyone 55 and over would have to go for 20%. And then there's other, depending on the person, there's other restrictions. I think the most down payment, I think, was 30, wasn't it?
Yeah, so there was a question from one of our followers, not a question, a statement that he heard, that if you are a foreigner, you have to put 50% down, and that's actually not true. You only have to put 30% down.
Yeah, I guess I've also talked to some people that had to put more down payment down. That could be because, not because you're a foreigner, it could be because you need to, based on the paperwork, the liquid you have, your assets, because you need to put more money down in order to get the mortgage you want. So another benefit you get from the bank by getting a mortgage is the inspection. They do an inspection for you. You're actually there with the inspector. He goes through the whole house, checks everything out, make sure everything is A1, because obviously if it wasn't, you wouldn't get a mortgage. So you feel a bit more comfortable when they do that. There's also the evaluation that you do. So from the get-go, you know exactly where you stand as far as the equity, the value of the house. You pay this much, it's worth this much, and you get to know all that. So I would call that a very good kind of
That's a
benefit.
Definite benefit of getting a mortgage from the bank.
Aside from the 1%, 1.2% interest rate.
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy. Okay. Now, keep in mind that obviously this was almost 2 years ago. So the banks, you know how they are, they're always adding new things. Maybe there's more advantages now, new regulations. These are all things that when you talk to the banker, they'll go over the latest, the most updated stuff. Could not tell you how important it is to get a notary/lawyer that can do all this for you. In our case, we have an amazing notary that took care of this. He basically takes care of the whole process and is right there in the middle between the sellers, the buyers, and the bank. And all this is, they're handling everything. One of the most important things, making sure that all the deeds are up to date, because a lot of times there's a lot of stuff that happened years ago that shows up all of a sudden, and that's why you need like a very good notary.
Yeah, so what Carlos is meaning by that is that if there's other people that have ownership on that property, they have to give permission to sell the property. And as well as if someone in the family passes away that owned the house, they have to show that the person that is selling the house is legally allowed to sell the house. There are closing fees. So total about 1,900 euros was our closing costs. There is a registration fee, there's a land transfer tax fee, and also what they call a stamp duty tax as well on the purchase.
Yeah, I think those are the top three. Might be a few other small things that contribute to the 1,900, but that's the top three. So the appointment takes place. Everyone's called in to this room and at the notary's office. And I thought this was pretty cool because you're literally sitting there. There's obviously these tables, and everyone that's on the deed of that house is in that room. So in our case, I think there was at least
10?
So at least 10 people, because the banker is also there. Everyone that represents anything to do with the purchase of this house, including anyone on the seller side, the buyer side, and the bank, all in this room, all signing.
And it was a little bit emotional because the original owner of this property was the grandmother of the family. So Carlos and I are quite excited and happy that we were getting our house, but on the other side, it was emotional for the family.
Yeah, it's always that. I mean, it's like, you always got to be emotional. Remembering in some cases, it was the mother and then the grandmother. But I remember the owner telling us, or the daughter of the original owner, that she was glad it's almost like staying in the family because I was born in the same area. They were very good friends with the family. It was all great. There was never a hiccup, because if there is a hiccup, we would have known before the meeting. The amount of money we paid the notary for this was quite well. I think we paid what, 300, not even 300 euros for all this work. So I thought that we got there. It's very smooth. You sign and
it was done.
The rest is history.
Yes.
And the only snag now is trying to get this renovation.
Renovations.
But it's moving along. We'll give you some update in the future there and coming up. So, and
yeah, because right now they're finishing the roof, which is great, and then we're gonna start on more work on the inside.
Yeah, it's been a great experience so far, and this is why we're trying to share this with you, and I think it's important. And hopefully the ones of you that are considering visiting and are already thinking of maybe buying something in the Azores, just go. I always say just get over there, stay as long as you can. And
the process of buying a house in Portugal is slower than it is here in Canada or the United States.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I guess the slow.
That is, well, it is Portugal, right? Things are slow in Portugal.
Yeah.
So if you have that in mind, then you won't panic.
Always have it in your head that whatever time you think it's going to take, or they tell you it's going to take, add some to that, okay? And if it comes in time, wow, have a celebration. You know what I mean? Pop the champagne, the wine, and have a party. It is exciting. I think it's improving. They're trying to digitize more government paperwork and all this. I think it's going to improve over time. It's just slow to get there. We just call it as part of the adventure and part of the education that we're getting, and we're learning constantly on all areas of being on the island, being in Portugal. We're also always learning here in Canada. Not everything, we don't know. That's why we have your accountants and you have the professionals to do their work.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, we did get our mortgage through Santander Bank, which is a Spanish bank. And honestly, we found the process in dealing with the bank manager very, very easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest banks in the world, from my understanding. They bought the Portuguese bank that used to be called Tota. The service is A1. The banker, the manager we deal with, he speaks English, and anything we need to do with the bank or not.
Yeah, any questions we had, he was there answering them.
So as we mentioned last week, we are working on putting together a workshop. Okay, this workshop is for expats buying property in the Azores. Okay, we figured that the best way to do this is on location, and that's what we're going to do. At the moment, we're just figuring out logistics, how long this will take place, but as soon as we have it, we'll let you know, and I think it'll be great.
We're going to bring in some amazing speakers that will give you all the information you need to buy a property in the Azores. For example, a real estate agent, a notary, a banker. So it will really give you great information.
Yeah, I mean, we'll even bring in some of the expats we've met that have done this. Their information is vital, and even their experience. They all have their own stories, and we'll bring them in just so they can share it with you. We're just trying to do this more one-on-one small group where you get to learn all this information, get your contacts, and experience the islands. Now, right now, this is going to take place in the Triangle. So you'll be able to experience Fayal Island, St. George Island, and Pico Island, okay? And so then when you leave, you have all these tools that you didn't have before. If you can't make it, you'll be home. There'll be a virtual live stream as this is taking place, and we'll even package it a taped version as well. So this is all stuff that it takes a lot of work to put this together. We're working with this amazing partner, and when we have more information, we're definitely going to share it. You'll be able to sign up to a list, so when the information is ready, we can send it directly to you.
We are going to end the video here, and we hope you received enough information. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and we will definitely see you in the next video.
All right, see you in the next video.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.